Hello, we're going to graph proportional relationships. Another way to determine whether two quantities are proportional is to graph the quantities on the coordinate plane. If the graph of the two quantities is a straight line through the origin, if it's got to be a straight line, it must pass through the origin. Then the two quantities are proportional. And we looked at ways before we took a break. This is a picture of what it's talking about. Sorry. If it's a straight line and it goes through the origin, then these points on here are proportional to one another. What's proportional mean? It means that we use a table, and we said that these time to distance is proportional to one another. For every minute of time, the distance goes up 6 feet. Another minute, 6 feet. Another minute, 6 feet. That's proportional. And we use cross multiplying to prove that. Before we took the break, 6 times 2 equals 1 times 12. That, in fact, is true. You find that with any of these, except for 0, 0. Cross multiplying doesn't work for 0, 0 for obvious reasons. That's not true. That's not true. 0 times 1 equals 0 times 6. Nope, it worked for all of them. My apologies. Okay. Another way I want you to see this that we didn't talk about was 1 times 6 equals 6. If each one of these are constant across here, if 2 times 6 equals 12, and 3 times 6 equals 18, and 4 times 6 equals 24, and in fact 0 times 6 equals 0, then we also know it's proportional. So we know that this is a table showing proportional values. And here's that table again. So if we graphed 1 and 6 and 2 and 12, we would see that we definitely have a straight line, and we would see it went through the origin. Those are the two things you need for a graph to show proportional values. Straight line through the origin. Okay, so you work. And again, if you're at home, just pause this if you're watching it. And it would look something like this. $5 an hour for babysitting. There's 1 hour, $5. 2 hours, $10. And hey, if you work 0 hours, you made $0. So it does go through the origin. That makes sense. It's a straight line, goes through the origin. Bada bing, bada boom. The cost of renting video games is shown in the table. Determine whether the cost is proportional to the games rented. So, I told you to do it this way. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is not 5. 3 times 3 is not 7. So you can look at the table and say, no, that's not true. And then you go down and look at the graph and you see, well, when I have 1, it goes to 3. When I have 2, it goes to 5. And when I have 3, it goes to 7. That is a straight line. It is a straight line because the change for every game, it costs $2. For every another game, it costs $2 more. But it doesn't go through the origin. So you can see the picture where it doesn't go through the origin, but it's a straight line. These values are not proportional. These values are not proportional to one another. They're not. But they do form a straight line. So we see we can have a straight line that's not proportional. You cannot have proportions that don't form a straight line. Line first, proportion second, the origin second. And again, we can cross multiply to show this. 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 3 is 6. That's another way you can show that. Or 1 times 3 and 3 times 3 is 7. Not 7. Okay. The table shows the number of calories an athlete burned. Determine whether the number of calories is proportional. Go ahead. This one where you would pause, answer it. Are these values proportional? You can either look at the table or you can look at the graph. And in fact, I'm sorry. Let's go back. They are not proportional because 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, but 3 times 4 is not 13. And you can see this line, while it looks straight right here, and it does go through the origin, it does not form a line right here. That would have to go through that intersection right there, and it doesn't. Which batting cage represents a proportional relationship between the number of pitches thrown and the cost? Softball plus or Fun Center? Again, I hope you can see Fun Center because it's a straight line. Softball plus is a straight line. They charge you $3 before just to go into the place. And the Fun Center says, no, we don't charge anything for no pitches. We only charge for the number of pitches. Okay, again, you go ahead and graph. One ticket is $12, 2 tickets are $24, 3 tickets are $36. Are you drawing a picture of a proportional line? I'm telling you, it will be a line. Is it going to be proportional? So you're looking for one thing. Does it go through the origin? Yes, when you graph them, you'll see it does go through the origin. And again, that makes sense. If you buy no tickets, it costs no dollars. So that should make some sense to you. Now we're going to look at some problems from Alex that you'll be doing on homework today. I want you to see how this works. What number goes in this green box? Use what you know. For 2 tables, you have 8 guests. This is a proportional table. So all of these are going to be equal. 2 tables, 8 guests. So 3 tables would be, well, how many guests for 1 table? That's what you need to figure out. How many guests for 1 table? Well, there's 4 guests for 1 table. So that means 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 4 is 12. What number times 4 is 20? That number would be 5. Okay. What number would this be? Now that you identified 4, that's called your constant, by the way. 4 is what's called the constant. It's the number you're going to multiply each time or divide. 8 divided by 4, 2 times 4, whichever way you decide to go. And it's called a constant because if they're proportional, it's going to be constant all the way across. And these are, in fact, equivalent ratios, which is nothing more than proportions. Okay, which table shows a proportional relationship? You can cross multiply, but I gave you another strategy today that you don't need to cross multiply. That's kind of the harder way, I think. So A or B? Well, 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. So we decided the constant was 4. 7 times 3 is 21. This doesn't have a constant. If it doesn't have a constant, it's not proportional. Again, I want to multiply instead of divide. 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 7 is 21. 8 times 7 is 56. The constant here is 7. If it has a constant, it's proportional. So B is the answer. Here's another one. It is proportional. I'll tell you that straight up. They want to know y is blank times 7. So what do you multiply x by to get to y? Well, 7 times 7, 9 times 7, 11 times 7. It is proportional because you can multiply. If you had one that wasn't proportional, then there would be nothing you can multiply every time. There would be no constant. Okay, here's one. This is proportional. It's a straight line. Goes through the origin. What do you have to multiply x by to get to y? Well, whatever 1 is. 1 hour for $3. I don't know. 1 blue marble for every 3 white marbles. Whatever it is, to get from x to y, you had to multiply by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 would be 9, and so forth. It has to have that constant to be proportional. Your assignment between now and the end of the class is complete the proportional relationship lesson in Alex. And that would be for you too if you weren't here today. You have a nice day. Hopefully this clears some things up for you.